Hey guys, it's me again. I guess it is time for us to make a little bit of update of our last week market analysis. Especially we have to look at our Bitcoin and favorite altcoins charts and decide what to do with them next. Basically, Bitcoin hasn't changed yet because it still stays in its tight range, uncertainty range. The market hasn't decided yet, or maybe we are in the range of accumulation or whatever. We don't know at this time yet. It is soon to say, but definitely we have an uncovered week that we will cover sooner or later. But we know that, but we don't know when it's going to happen. Since our last video, I mentioned this similar situation that I see on the chart of Bitcoin. Basically, we were stuck here. Let me find this. Yes, we were stuck in this range, as you see it, with this uncovered wick, as I mentioned in the previous video. And we have the same thing here. Uncovered wick. We abruptly broke our global trend line and the 2021 yearly open, and then got bought back again up, but we left a red wick that says that we will be back to recover it below. Maybe we will find the bottom at it, our final global bottom of the cycle, or maybe not. Maybe we will go lower. We don't know it yet, but we discussed the possible scenarios in our last two videos about market analysis and Bitcoin. So what we have now, basically, as you can see, we have some similar. We now see some similarities in this setups that I mentioned here, and this one. If you remember, I told you that we will find probably our reversal point around $34,000, and we did actually. As you did see, we squeezed back to our global trend line support since then, and as you can see, we look quite similar to what we had here. As you see, that I mentioned in my previous video, we can draw this line and we will see some similar scenario with this one. Yeah, we were trading below this line, then we broke it, found the range resistance. Here we had also this range resistance, but it right here, we could draw it here. It is the minor range, but I was focusing mainly, I told you 32.34 is going to be our resistance where we have to reverse locally, but I was focusing on the maximum level here because it is the stronger resistance here, because we are entering the bigger range. So definitely we see something similar going on here. Broke it, got rejected, and when lower, tested it as support, tried to recover a little bit but failed, and went lower as we lost this crucial, this important support of the range support. We fell deeply, and the similar situation can happen here. If we follow the same scenario, we either go and retest this resistance line, counter trend local resistance line, and go back low, dive under this global trend line, retest it, and go back straight. Either we break this line too, or we slide on it and go somewhere lower and build some trading range here, maybe a global accumulation range. We don't know it yet, but the thing is, we have to do that sooner or later. We either go this way and we can confirm it with our Kijun Sen shift or our super trend indicators. It is on the daily chart. Let's switch to the 4-hour chart, and as you see, we have a strong resistance here around our local counter trend line. If we close 4-hour with a red and the next one too, we can actually follow that scenario that we discussed now, as it will be our strong resistance here. But if we break it and hold it, we can have some midterm run towards the 37, maybe 38,000, where we will find another resistance, strong resistance, and maybe we will make a little bit of expansion and we see a reversal setup, and we will go back down into our range low around 24,000. We will come there sooner or later, because even if we go against the odds, against the setup that I mentioned here, anyway we will be back to covering this week. It is an indicator that we cannot leave. We always cover these weeks. That is how the trading works. The market makers always love to cover all the untraded zones, and this zone is definitely an untraded one of this red week. Let's look at the higher time frame, at the macro situation on the regression curve here, logarithmic. Let's switch to the daily, and what we see here, let's just delete this line and all those indicators, so we have some clear situation here. What we see here, as I mentioned already, there are some scenarios that I am going to follow. I stick to the scenario that we won't fall below 23,000, as we never cross the previous cycle's all-time high at 19,000, but that is not 100%. We haven't crossed it before, but that doesn't mean that we won't cross it this time. Everything changes with each cycle, and this can be our novelty if we break it, and then we will be able either find our support, global support for Bitcoin around 19-20,000, or maybe even go to 13-14,000, where we have a massive amount of orders, limit orders placed, and the biggest zone of buy orders of Bitcoin, where huge buyers and huge market makers are going to defend that area. So we don't know it yet, but I shared with you in my previous analysis that why I don't think going below 19,000 isn't a good idea for the market maker and the crowd itself. But we know that even in situations like this, market maker knows how to scare the retail investors to buy there. Although we think we all are going to buy there, but the situation in the world and on traditional markets is unpredictable right now. It is historical. It is unexpected. You don't know what to expect from it, how far it can go, this depression. But definitely for now, I stick to this scenario that we are going to hold above this yellow line, as we always hold. We can lose it abruptly, like here, and actually touch 19-20,000, or even go lower we cannot reject this kind of scenarios, but for now I am sticking to the most optimistic that we are going to hold higher, around 24,000. Maybe it is going to be our massive global accumulation zone. I am not sure now, but this week, Uncovered Week, tells us that we will come here upon the retest, and maybe when we come here, this yellow line is going to be around 25, 24, and that is going to be our bottom, and we actually in a great accumulation zone. We don't know it yet. We have to analyze and make conclusions based on what we see in the moment and what things or parts of the chart are clear for now. We are not guessing by the stars here. So all the scenarios are mentioned, but look at how we usually trade these things. We hold this blue line, this band, in a range. Unfortunately, on this chart we don't have our previous cycle. We also were holding some range before losing it. Oh wait, sorry. Before losing it, we held it, then we lost it, and we went abruptly down and never got back. The same thing is here. We never retested it, although we can, and we probably will be if we go high from this and go to that 38,000 retest. I think we will get rejected out there, and we will be back to our 25s, 24s at least. But if we don't go according to the first scenario, that we are going straight from here down, we will form here also an global accumulation zone, as we did in the previous 2015 cycle. We had an accumulation zone here, as you see. After we lost this blue support, we went to the yellow and formed here a global accumulation zone. The same thing we did in 2018, 2019, as we were holding above 6,000. When we lost it, we went to 3,500, 3,200, and we formed another, what I call, and I like the most fundamental, rounded bottom accumulation. So this wasn't a lot of people call it this dump and this wee bottom accumulation zone. It wasn't accumulation zone. This was the global accumulation zone. This was the reaccumulation zone. Those huge players who didn't get on board here with massive players of the market, they were jumping in somewhere here around $4, $5, and $7,000. So the same thing can happen here. We had this range where we traded above this blue line, and the moment we lost it, we came to the yellow line, but we didn't get quite there yet, but we will eventually, sooner or later. And there is a chance we are going to form a global accumulation zone here. The longer this accumulation zone will take, the more fundamental will be this zone, and the stronger will be the upcoming upside potential movement. So we have to follow this closely on the macro level. You can draw the same thing to yourself. Turn on this long-term regression Bitcoin nonlinear indicator chart and follow this. It is going to be very useful for you, I guess. You'll tell me later in the comments if you want. but this will help you understand the macro situation on the market. So based on what we saw here, but based on what we talked about, we can now switch to the altcoins, our favorite altcoins that we follow, and we have to mention them because we have to know how to trade them. Okay, I talked about Ren lately. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw that I longed it around here, $1.55, and I said that if we hold this purple line as this local support line as support, as long as we hold it, we are good to hold it, and we can hold it expecting for some profits. And we have our resistances as showed by a super trend and ranges line that we have, and actually the Kijun shift resistance. So it is clearly how to trade it. I forgot to mention that I was entering 152 before a week ago, opened this long, right as I mentioned in my previous videos that I'm going to open it as soon as we break this counter trend line, local counter trend line, and I held it until 185, I guess, yes, and I closed it. I saw the signs of the reversal, and we went back here below, and we actually retested it as support, this line, my previous entry, and now I re-entered at 155. But I told you that if we lose this purple line like we did now, I'm going to close it because, but we have to only in case we start closing below it, not just dumping like we are now, but also if we close below the 4-hour, on the 4-hour time frame, we closed below it. As you see on the hourly chart, I'm still holding, but if we start closing below this purple line on the 4-hour time frame, I will understand that we are not ready to go up, we are going back low. So definitely I will close it. This trade is more like a hedge to me now, so we are trading it accordingly. Let's look at Polkadot. It is very easy to trade for me here. Let's back to Sushi for a minute, and we have to mention that on 4-hour time frame we got this candle that I don't like. This candle is an absorption candle, and I think it will force us to go down sooner or later. I'm not sure if it allows us to go up, so we have to be very careful, and we have to focus on Bitcoin. We don't have similar candle here, so we need to be very careful with it. Actually, I don't like it, but altcoins, they show us the reversal points. Let's look at the Altcoin Index. And if you remember from my Twitter account, I told you we also have an uncovered wick here, and we lost this. We got rejected upon this global trend line. Classic. But locally we can recover a little bit. Until, for example, here, and get rejected here. Not sure about it right now, but that's what we have to follow. And we have this resistance. in order to go higher, we have to break both this Kijun and super trend resistance, and this is going to be a strong resistance for us for altcoins in overall. And actually, if we break these two in one place, we can and retest it and reverse it. It can be a strong sign of recovery, and we can even break this trend line. So I'm not sure what are our chances of breaking this for our resistance. This is going to be very strong. This has to be very strong. So we have to follow that and pay attention to that. Okay, let's remove these indicators and get back to our Polkadot. And it is great. I told you in my Twitter account that as soon as we saw this absorbing candle, we are going down, and we went down. I even added some local resistances to play even lower time frames here. They are working perfectly for me, for trading, for understanding what is going on. Again, let's look at Polkadot on hourly time frame. We have this absorbing candle, and it is not a good sign for me actually. When I see it, you see the previous similar candle. We try to draw some recovery here upon the next candle, and the second one and the third one, they went down, as was said by this candle. The same thing can happen here, but what the short scenario here will be only if we see Polkadot lose this global not global, this local support line. As soon as we lose it, for example, we go, let's enable our Kijun shift and super trend. Again, we can actually retest it as resistance. It is right at our global counter trend line. If we retest it, get rejected, we are going lower, and this time we are going lower significantly, and we'll lose, definitely will lose this supporting line, and we'll go lower up to meet our uncovered wick. Now let's look at something. But if we do not go right there, if we start losing our line sooner, the moment we lose it and start closing with a 4-hour time candle below this line, definitely you should be out of your longs and your holdings. Especially, we either go straight away down, or we will retest it, find it, reject it, and this is the spot where we have to open shorts technically, and we will go lower. And this chart is very understandable to me and very easy and safe to trade or even invest. If you are a long-term trader or investor, you buy here as long as we are above it. If we lose it, you sell, you will rebuy lower. That's it, you won't lose much. If we reclaim this line, retest this support, hold it, and start reversing, it is a long, it is going up, and we will find resistance somewhere around $11.50, $12, where our resistance line here goes. Very easy to trade these things if you are qualified enough and good at drawing these lines. trend lines, counter trend lines, they are very helpful to me and are basic for me in my trading experience. As you see, let's get back to REN. Interesting situation here. It was the first one, as always, to tell me that the market is going to down, to reverse last week, and it actually did. Now what we have here, we had some resistance line and some support line that became a resistance. We are switching to the 4-hour time frame. What we see here, we held it as support, lost it, reclaimed it, lost it again with this absorbing candle that told us everything we had to know, that we are going down. Easy. That, yeah, if you are good at candle making analysis and estimation, you will be great in trading and knowing when to buy, when to bail out. So now we see that we hold this purple line, but this one is not that significant for now. To understand our further direction, we can hold it, retest this one. The pink one is going to be our leading line that will tell us a lot. If we retest, if we lose this one and start closing below, we are going down lower. That's it, to 10 or 8 cents, I don't know, for REN. You should close everything if we go down. If we hold it, we go back to 15-16 cents, and we are going to retest this line. Basically, you see super trend and Fusion shift also there, somewhere there in that zone, to tell you whether we are going to reverse here. It will be clear. So we have to follow this pink line as a resistance, how the price is going to behave, and also take into account and into help our super trend and Fusion shift indicators that are very helpful. Okay, let's look at Solana. It looks very interesting for me because, as you see, I showed many times already that a lot of times that we held successfully, then lost our global trend line, one of our global trend lines that is also a point of control. It was a great support for us, this orange line, and we lost it during the weekend, as the market tries not to free fall. Market makers hold the price within the ranges. So as we lost it, we were coming to it, and now we are testing this line as resistance. The way we are going to close this 4-hour time frame, let's look at indicators. We have also this resistance around this red counter trend line local, and we have the super trend resistance also. So if we cannot reclaim this orange line, we are going to retest this one, retest it as a resistance, and go back lower, and then we are going significantly lower with Solana. And you have to trade accordingly. If we reclaim it, you see the support held. We are going to retest our super trend resistance, this red line. We will come here. We either start reversing it there, or we are going to retest also Fusion shift and simultaneously our local counter trend line. And this is going to be our reversal point, because we have a lot of resistances here, this local counter trend line, this global counter trend line. So at some point we are going to reverse here and go back lower. So we just don't know from what point we are going to go there, but we have we can understand based on how we are going to behave with those lines. So if we start reversing here and close with the red candle, most likely the next one is going to be also red, and we will lose this line, the supporting line. You can draw it and all these lines, and you will understand how to trade it and how to behave in each scenario here. Definitely our target, long-term target buy for Solana is around $19 to 25. Not sure, it is a little bit twisted right now. It will be clearer if we get there, especially if we have some volatile capitulation candle. It would be more clear and understandable for us. But for now we are analyzing with what we got, what we have before our eyes. Let's look at MINA. MINA was behaving splendid for me. This asset is one for me that, if you remember how I shared it with you, how precisely it worked with my orange line, it worked as support, and now it worked as resistance many times, and I predicted right, thanks to this line, the direction of MINA. And we had also 1 week that we had to cover, and actually MINA has covered it. From the technical point of view, it was perfect. This is a good recovery. Based on this chart, I can assume, and if I didn't know about the Bitcoin chart and other altcoins that haven't covered their weeks, I would tell that MINA and the market has found its bottom. And I would actually mean that, around 80 cents. And we are still holding this line as our support, as you see, and this range as support. The moment we lose it, we go down sharply, I guess, at least not even 70 cents, maybe 67 cents, I don't know, if we lose it. But for now, everybody who can see it can tell me that we recovered this line, and we are drawing a double bottom, which is going to be a strong reversal point for us. And I cannot argue with you. That would be a great scenario for me. Only if Bitcoin starts going up, recovering a little bit, MINA will have a good pace from this spot. But also we don't have to forget that the market still has to recover their weeks, and the others altcoins, they don't look that optimistic like MINA does. So we have to follow accordingly. That is why I drew this line. I will use another chart where I had these drawings. Yes, this one, I guess, or this one. So basically we can enter without any regrets or doubts if MINA breaks this resistance. Let's just switch to this one. This one is clearer. Okay, if we breaking, just enable this one. If MINA breaks this black line, it is a buy, total buy, around $90, 91 cents, not dollars, 91.90 cents. If it breaks it and holds it, this line is support, then it has the chance to go to 111 or 130, 120, $130. And then we will see the power of that movement, and based on what is going on with Bitcoin it can become stronger from this point of view. Even if Bitcoin goes down significantly, it can be stronger and won't lose this support. But for now, it is soon to say, because basically MINA now is on its new bottom and it hasn't recovered from it. You see, we're still under our 7 EMA band. When we break it to the upside and hold it, then we are going higher to 112, 111, as I said. And what is going to happen next, we don't know. Whether we have the expansion go back down, or we go there and go down. But we will retest on the global basis this line, I guess, once again in any scenario. But this buy was good one, and I told you that for a long-term hold this was a good buy. Around 80 cents, 85 cents was a good buy for Luna in the long term. But if we lose it, we lose this blue line, I guess we are going to 67 cents. That would be the place that I would buy heavily, and the next one would be around 50 cents, but I am not sure we are going there anytime. But we have to keep that in mind just in case. We have to be prepared for any scenario. This market can last for a long time, so we have to be prepared and accumulate accordingly, accumulate wisely. These zones are safe zones for the long term, for 2, 3, 4 years. So if you are looking into investing in MINA, you can buy it around here, but I would actually wait for us to get back above 89 cents. If we get back and hold, definitely if we get back, it's a buy. Then we come on a retest of 111, 110, and you can simply place your stop loss at your entry and you will be safe. If we are going higher, then you are profitable. If we are reversing and go back down, your stop loss at entry will be triggered. You don't suffer any losses, but you will be able to buy much lower. And I would say just follow this line, yellow line. If we are going up from here and get reversed, you will find your entry upon this line as support. It will help you identify where this support and best buy spots are going to be. So we have to follow that. Also, let's look at KNC. This looks interesting for me. As you remember, we longed it, we shorted successfully. Then I told you that we are not going up from here and going down, and we went. But then there were some weekends we got recovery, and S&P market also had some recoveries, local recoveries. Now we are standing here, and it pretty much looks that we can, if we reclaim this red line and hold it, it is a buy. I wouldn't long it, I would buy spot, and you can look for the movement at least to this 248 resistance. But I wouldn't long this crap actually, because it has this situation on the 4-hour time frame. Basically we fell under this local support, this line that supported. We are under it. As long as we hold under it, we are set to go lower, back to those targets that we had before. 150, 140, don't know where else. But only if we can break this super trend and Kijun as resistances and simultaneously reclaim this red line, we will be bullish only if we break them and hold them. But this chance is not high actually, because if we look at KNC's monthly, you will see that this chart is craving another red candle to cover this week. And usually we have, when we have a huge red candle, we have we have the same one to draw as the next one, but we cannot to do that actually on KNC, I think, because it would be going to the floor. At least we have to cover this week that we have around $1. We have to retest it at least. So either this month or the next 2 months we will be back to that zone, to that price. So won't be surprised here. But you don't long an asset with this kind of red candle on the monthly. That is my recommendation. Perceive it as financial recommendation, as if you wish. Okay, I guess that's basically it. Good luck to